Hi everyone, I think I have my connection figured out now. My name is Alicia Nelson and I am the camp director out at Camp Pisgah. We are part of Girl Scouts Carolina's Peaks to Piedmont, serving Central and Western North Carolina. And I'm here today to go over some stuff and teach you guys a little bit more about archery. And then when we're all done, we're also going to make some at-home recurve archery bows from some popsicle sticks. So as we get started and wait for a few people to be able to hop on and join, one thing I do want to let everybody know is that you will want to go ahead and have your popsicle sticks soaking in water. So we had posted about that earlier, but in case you hadn't seen that, if you can go ahead and soak your popsicle stick in a cup of water, that is going to help us with our craft later on. So to start off, before we get to our craft, I'm going to go over the parts of a bow with you guys. So if you've ever done archery before, or even if you haven't, there are two main types of bows that are used in archery, specifically at camp. And those are going to be a compound bow and a recurve bow. So a compound bow is the one that I'm going to go over parts with you. And so a compound bow has a lot of parts to it. It has wheels, it has extra strings, and it looks a little bit more intense than a recurve bow. Now, a recurve bow is also known to a lot of people as a Robin Hood bow. So if you saw the movie Robin Hood, a recurve bow is the type of bow that Robin Hood uses. So we are going to make our own version of a recurve bow. And before we do that, we are going to go over parts of a compound bow. So give me 1 second and I'm going to turn you guys around so that you can see the bow that I have on my table. Okay, so this is our compound bow. So if you've been to camp before or if you've done archery in a program, this is probably the type of bow that you are used to seeing. So they come in a bunch of different colors. This one just happens to be yellow. So this is a compound bow, and we're going to start to go over some of the parts of the compound bow. Now, one of the things that make a compound bow special is that it has a lot of power. So this right here, this black line right here that goes up and down the entire bow, that is called the cable. And so this part of the compound bow is called the cable, and the cable serves to increase the energy that you have in your draw. So whenever you pull your bow back, that's called a draw. And so the cable right here, which is this black line right here, goes all the way through the bow, through the wheels and the cam, which we'll go over in just a second, and that serves to help increase your energy. So the cable has to connect somewhere. So it has 2 points of connection. So up here, this top one right here, this is called a wheel. So the wheel is at the top, and so you can see that that cable goes all the way up and connects to that wheel. And then when you look all the way at the bottom, you have something else down here that looks kind of like a wheel, but it's a little bit different. This is called a cam. And so this is called a cam. It's a little bit different, and the purpose of the cam is to help provide even more power. So the cable attaches through here, and this helps with your drawing power so that you're able to have a stronger shot. Now, one thing that's important is this piece right here. So this metal piece is called a cable guard. So even though the cable is very helpful to us and it gives us a lot of power, we want to make sure that the cable does not touch our bowstring or our arrow when we are using it. And so this cable guard connects to the cable so that it keeps the cable away from the string so that you stay safe and that the arrow does not hit the string or the cable when you are using that to shoot. The next really important thing, this right here, this is where your hand goes, and this is called a grip. So obviously you need a place to hang on to when you're shooting archery. And so this right here, this is called a grip, and this is what you hold on to when you're getting ready to shoot. The last part that we're going to go over are called the limbs. So these right here, kind of like our arms are called limbs, these are basically the arms of the bow. So this one right here towards the top, and we know it's the top because the wheel is at the top. This is called the upper limb. And this one down here, this bottom one, is called the is called the lower limb. And remember, we know it's the lower limb because the cam is at the bottom and the wheel is up at the top. So those are our basic parts of a compound bow. There's definitely some more. Those are the ones we're going to go over for today. Now we are going to go ahead and transition into our craft of the day. And our craft of the day is to make a version of, of our Robin Hood bow or of our recurve bow. So this is what we're going to be making. So you can see this right here. So for this, you're going to need a popsicle stick. You're going to need a steak knife or a pair of scissors. You're going to need some dental floss and some Q-tips that are going to serve as our arrows. So if you guys saw earlier, we asked you if you could go ahead and soak your popsicle sticks in water. And so the reason you want to soak your popsicle stick in water is it's going to make it easier to bend the popsicle stick. So if you did not have a chance to soak your popsicle stick in water for a while, that's okay. Go ahead and follow along, and we will post this video later so that you can see it again. I will say it is important to soak it first. I tried to make these first without soaking the popsicle stick, and it did not work as well. Another hack that I have found, if you're wanting to speed up the process from soaking your popsicle stick, is that you can actually put your popsicle stick into boiling water for 2 or 3 minutes, and that will help you out in terms of getting your popsicle stick to be a little bit more able to bend. So right now, go ahead and take your popsicle stick. So this is mine. I just got it out of the water, so it's still a little bit wet. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to start to bend your stick so that it has that curve. So I like to start on the outsides and start to just push upwards slightly, just like this. And then you can work your thumbs down into the middle and back out again. Now, once you have down how you're going to bend your stick, the best thing to do is to take a towel. I have a hand towel. You can also use a paper towel. And you want to cover your popsicle stick in that towel so that you can dry it off. And as you're drying it off, go ahead and bend it in the same way that we just went over. So you want to start on the outsides and then move your thumbs slowly in as you're pushing up. So you want to cover it in your towel, and then do that same thing as it dries. And as you're doing this, what it does is it'll take the water out so that it'll help save it in its place in that bent curve. And again, this may take a couple tries. It's totally okay. If you did not have a chance to soak your popsicle stick, you're still welcome to follow along. And if not, feel free to try again once you're able to watch this video once we've posted it. Okay, so I have my popsicle stick dry, and you can see I have a pretty good curve to that. So this next part, so if you are younger and you are someone who is watching with an adult, this may be something that you need to ask their help with. And so make sure, I will give you a second, if you are a little bit younger and you're watching this without an adult near you, ask them if you need some help, because this is where our knife is going to come in. So I will give you a second if anyone needs to call for their guardian or whoever they're with, or an older brother or sister. That way they can be sure to help you guys out. Okay. So what we're going to do next is we need a place for the string to connect. So if you look at the one I made earlier, I have little divots. Try to see if you can see that. So I have little divots on each side at the top and at the bottom. So how I measured this is I took my pinky finger and I put it over the end of my popsicle stick, and where my pinky ended is where I made my marks. So this is the best way that I have found to measure this. So go ahead and take your pinky and put it right on the end like this. And as you can see, my pinky lines up perfectly with where that line is. So once you have your mark, so I'm going to put my pinky right there, and I see that I need to make a mark right here. You're going to take your knife, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to do this, and then I'm actually going to do it on my table. And so I'm not sure if you'll be able to see that or not, but I'll do my best. So you're going to take your knife, and you're going to slowly kind of carve into the popsicle stick to make your divot. So if I come back here, I think you can see. So you want to do that on both sides. So I have it there. Then you're going to flip it over and do the same thing on the other side. Until you have something that looks like this. I will give you guys a second to catch up with this. If crafts like this are fun to you guys, be sure to check out our website, camplikeagirl.org. There you can find information about all of the camps in the Peaks to Piedmont region. We do crafts like this, plus a lot more all the time. And today happens to be our last day of early bird registration. And so if you register by the end of the day today, you can save $50 off of the cost of camp for you guys. And so be sure to check out that website. We will post that website in the comments as well. And so that's camplikeagirl.org, and you can find out about all of our camps that we have and all of the different types of activities that we do. All right, so you have your two lines like this. Now you're going to flip over, and you're going to do the same thing on the other side. So go ahead and flip over, and then you want to make two more divots on the other side. So you have that just like that now as well. What are we learning today? Today we went over parts of a bow, and now we are learning to make our own recurve bows from popsicle sticks and dental floss. So I'll give you guys a second to catch up with that. If you're already caught up, you're going to go ahead and you're going to take a piece of dental floss about 10 inches long and tear that off. So we won't do this yet, but just so you see, so what we're going to end up doing is we're going to attach the dental floss into those grooves that you just made. And the tricky part is you want to make sure that your dental floss is going to start and end on the same side. So if you see it's connected there and there, this is on the same side. So for me, this is on my left side. So for you guys, that would be the right. And then on my opposite side, the string is still attached, but the part where you can pull back is on the opposite end. Okay. So once you have all of your carving done, you're going to go ahead and take your dental floss, and you want to stick it into those divots just like this. And you want to wrap it around the top twice and then end like this. So you've wrapped it around twice. That'll make sure it's nice and secure. And then the rest of your dental floss should just be hanging down right here. Now, this is the part that can get a little bit tricky. So this is where we're going to attach the floss to make our bowstring down to the other end. So what I found out here, this is where popsicle sticks can break sometimes. So if they do, it's totally okay. Feel free to start again. I have at least 2 or 3 that I had to go through before I figured out some tricks to make these correctly. And so I'll share those tips with you as we're going along as well. So you're going to want to take your thumb and hold it in the center of your popsicle stick. That's right where the main part of that curve is. So take your thumb and hold it in the center right there. Now you're going to take your string and you want to attach it first on the same side that you just ended with. So you're going to take that string, whoop, and attach it into that divot. Whoop. Just like that. And then you want to go ahead and you want to wrap that around 2 or 3 more times at the end again. And you may have some extra. If you have some extra, you can just use some scissors to cut those off. And once you have that, what you want to do is you want to pull this as tight as you can without breaking the stick. And so you're keeping your thumb in the center as you wrap that so that you can start to get that curve. So you have your bow. So we've just made our bow. Now what you want to do is we need arrows. So it's great to have a bow, but you also want to have arrows. So go ahead and you're going to take a Q-tip and you just want to break it in half down the center. Or if you have your knife, if they're harder to break. I know sometimes some of you guys may have Q-tips that have plastic on them, so you might need to use scissors or a knife to cut those in half. And these are going to be our arrows. Then take your thumb, hold it on the center. Go ahead and take your Q-tip and attach it. I'm trying to figure out the best way to show this to you guys. Go ahead and attach it to your string, pull back, and it'll shoot forward. So let me try again to see the best way to show you. So you're going to take your string like this, take your Q-tip, and attach right here. And then you can pull back and shoot it forward. And that is how you can make an at-home recurve bow with popsicle sticks. A couple tips and tricks that I found other than this is if dental floss is harder for you guys, I have found that rubber bands work really well also. And so they give you a little bit of extra pull there. And then one great game that I have found with this is if you use colored water. And so if you take a couple drops of food coloring into water and dip your Q-tip into that water, you can take a white piece of paper and draw a target. And then when the arrow hits the target, you can see where you hit. And so it's a good way to kind of keep track and see what you guys have been doing. So awesome. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope you guys were able to learn a lot and hopefully have a fun craft and a new toy to play with. Remember to check out our website, camplikeagirl.org, to learn more about all of our summer camps and have a chance to come and do crafts like these, plus a million other great things this summer. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments, and we look forward to seeing you guys. We will be back every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at 4 o'clock and 7. So be sure to follow our page and check us out for some great activities coming your way. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you later.